Good afternoon, my name is Logan, and today I will be analyzing a TED Talk going by the name of How to Escape Death Valley, Education's Death Valley by Ken Robinson. Basically, the summary of this entire TED Talk by Ken Robinson was distinguished between three different points. Now, see, I will go into these a little bit more depth later, but for the time being, I will analyze and show you how he descriptively does this. Now, see, everybody has heard of the No Child Left Behind Act, and we have all came across it in one way, shape, or form, whether we realize it or not. No Child Left Behind Act was enacted by President Obama to basically say, hey, we don't want to leave any child behind. Every child deserves to be created equally in the art of education. Basically what this did is actually end up prohibiting certain moves that different children could enact and make, and overall left us all behind. Now see, human beings are different and diverse, quoted by Ken Robinson himself, as different people have different strengths, different needs, different talks, and different diversity that we can all have between one another. And lately in this education, we haven't been able to be sparking the art of the light of curiosity. Now see, you may be wondering, what is the light of curiosity? And that is to enact a child more of a influencer and to get them involved in certain things. And rather we focus on broad approaches such as math, science, and reading and social studies, when we really should be focusing on the inner hearts of that student that can push them to succeed rather than left behind. Now see, the credibility of the speaker, Ken Robinson himself, was a British author of 11 books to be exact, and he was a speaker and international advisor on education. He also has a PhD at the University of London in English and Drama, and also a professor for over 12 years for the University of Warwick before he ended up retiring. So basically, my lens that I chose for this presentation, was futuristic. Although futuristic may be kind of weird to talk about, but really we're talking about the future of the child here, rather than just the future of education. See, nowadays we use multiple choice tests to determine one child's success, rather than digging deeper into that heart and being able to recognize the certain successes that they obtain and overall change education for the future and let the human mind flourish through the light of curiosity. Now see, in this little snippet that I was able to throw into here, it talks a lot about how education really should be going, and you may recognize that I did throw in a little bit of being the broad approach, like math, science, and reading, and social studies, as Ken Robinson talks about. So you may hear that being talked about here in this little clip that I'll be showing.
Narrow the focus onto the so-called STEM disciplines. They're very important. I'm not here to argue against science and math. On the contrary, they're necessary, but they're not sufficient. A real education has to give equal weight to the arts, the humanities, to physical education.
And as Ken Robinson talked about, he talked a lot about physical education and the arts and a lot more into that rather than just math, science, and all that. Although it does need to be focused on, it doesn't need to be brought upon to the child and let them be their own. Now you may be asking yourself a lot of questions at the moment because it's really hard to get in between these 5 minutes, but just know that 10% of the population may be children, 100% of the population. 10% of our population may only be kids, but those 10% are 100% of our future.